following will be thoroughly explained in this step-by-step WordPress blogging tutorial. Setting up a domain name and hosting account with Hostgator.com, getting your first month of web hosting for just 1 cent, installing WordPress on your hosting account, downloading and installing a free professional WordPress theme, finding free high-quality public domain icons and photos, using a free online application to create a logo and also edit photos, creating pages and blog posts, understanding blogging functionality, and this includes user comments and categories, using the visual editor to add images and customize text, creating a custom navigation menu with an optional drop-down menu, adding an optional slideshow to the blog page with your own pictures and captions, embedding YouTube videos, installing a contact form plugin, and more. Alright, so this is the exact same website. I'm going to show you step by step how to create and replicate this website exactly. This is actually set up as a blog, which means that my homepage is the blog page. It's going to show the most recent blog post at the top, and older posts will be shown below. You've got an excerpt and a featured image of each post. I'm going to show you how to create this custom logo and find custom icons, free icons that you can use for your logos and for your websites. And I'm going to show you how to use a free online photo editing application called Pixlr to create effects like this. I've got this text here with a really subtle drop shadow there. I'm going to show you how to use this is a professional WordPress theme that's available for free from a premium WordPress theme company called Theme for Press, and this theme's called the HUMIX theme. I'm going to show you how to download the HUMIX theme, and I'm going to show you how to customize your navigation menu and add drop-down menus if you want to. I'm going to show you how to use the HUMIX theme to add in social media icons that link to your social media pages. The optional slideshow here I'm going to show you how to create, and I'm going to show you where to find these images that you can use for free. Same places where we get the icon, the compass icon there. And this slideshow, you can have as many or as few slides as you want. You can have a custom caption there, and you can also link these to your blog posts or your pages, as you can see there. I'm going to show you how to set up your sidebar widgets. I've got a search bar widget, the pages widget, the categories widget there. I'm going to show you how to use the blogging functionality of WordPress. Categories are part of the blogging functionality. I've got 3 different blog posts as examples, and they're categorized in the following categories. I'm going to explain those, and I'm going to show you how to embed YouTube videos onto your blog. This is an example of a YouTube video. You can go and actually watch this on the blog. I'm going to show you how to install a contact form plugin, and when people visit your site and fill this contact form out, when they fill it out, it's going to actually send an email to the email address you provide of a copy of this contact form. So that's a really professional way to do that. And all of this I'm going to show you step by step without skipping anything so that you can replicate this exactly and add your own twist. And obviously I'm using the travel theme just as an example. This can be about whatever you want it to be about. The first thing we're going to do is set up web hosting and a domain name with Hostgator.com. So just go to Hostgator.com and click on web hosting. Now you have 3 different options here: the hatchling plan, baby plan, and the business plan. The hatchling plan, you can only have 1 domain name. In other words, you can only have 1 website with the same account, and obviously that's going to be cheaper. The baby plan, you can have as many websites as you want on that same account and pay just a little bit more. And the business plan has unlimited domain names and some added security features. I recommend the baby plan because I always obviously like the option of having as many websites on one account as I want to have, and I don't think the security features that the business plan comes with are necessary for most people, and you can always upgrade to the business plan later. So we're going to select the baby plan. So just go ahead and click on order now. Alright, and now for your domain name, you just need to enter the domain name that you want. This can be anything that's available. For our purposes, I'm going to use quickblogcreation.com, and you can choose .net, .org, or .us here. We're going to do the most popular .com, and it's important to note that obviously this has to be an available domain, so you may have to give it a few tries before you find something that someone else hasn't already chosen. And this coupon code, SNAPPY, will give you 20% off your domain purchase. I have two different coupon codes, and one of them gets you your first month of hosting for just 1 cent. That one is WP Sculptor 1 cent. Okay, I recommend that for people that are just going to pay for 1 month at a time. Go ahead and get your first month for 1 cent. Now, for those of you that might want to order quite a few months in one go, you can get 25% off with the coupon code WP Sculptor 25. But we're going to use WP Sculptor 1 cent to get our first month of web hosting for 1 cent. Click on Continue to Step 2. Alright, and for the package type, again, we want to go with the baby, and we just want to pay for 1 month. Alright, and then a username, you have to go ahead and fill that out. Alright, and then the billing information, go ahead and fill out your billing information. And your payment information goes here. You also have the option, if you're out of the country or for whatever reason you want to use PayPal, you can pay with PayPal here. And then go ahead and uncheck these two boxes. This is added security. You can always add this later. I don't necessarily recommend this when you're starting out. Then if you look here, you get support for free, you get the instant account activation, and you have 45 days to get your money back if you aren't satisfied with your website for whatever reason. And just verify the baby plan. And as you can see, we're paying $15 for the domain name, and that's going to cover a year's worth of domain. So you won't have to worry about that. And the first month of web hosting is just 1 cent. And after this first month, you'll be billed $9.95 per month with whatever credit card or payment information, PayPal, whatever it may be that you entered above. And go ahead and click on this box and create account. In a few minutes, you'll get an email sent to the email address you provided in the previous step, and that's going to contain some important information. So after a couple of minutes, go ahead and check your email. So after a few minutes, you'll get an email from Hostgator that says sales, and go ahead and open that up. And this is some very important information that you're going to definitely want to keep regarding your hosting account. And what we're going to do is click on this link where it says your control panel, and it's going to open up in a new tab. And then we're going to go back and copy our password. And we're going to type in our username, which is also in that email. It's the same one we set up earlier. And then we're just going to paste our password in. Click Login. Now just exit out of these things, and we're going to scroll down to almost all the way to the bottom under Software and Services and click on Quick Install. Okay, yours actually won't show any of this stuff. The only reason this is showing on mine is because I have another domain already installed on this account, but that won't affect anything that we're going to do. So go ahead and click on WordPress, and then we're going to click Continue. And right here, yours will only have one option since you just bought your first domain name. Mine's got a couple different options. I'm going to select quickblogcreation.com. Leave this blank because this is going to install. We want our website to be at our domain name. We don't want it to be quickblogcreation.com/anything. We just want it to be right there. Uncheck this box and go ahead and type in your email address. And select a title. We can always change this later. Select a username. and put in your first and last name and click Install Now. Okay, so in a couple of hours we'll be able to access our website. We've got to wait a little bit. That's just part of the process, but it's important to note that you've got to save this password here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that and paste it into a text document so that I have that. And in a couple hours we'll check back and we should be able to access our website. After a couple of hours, your website should officially be live. And to check, just type in your domain name. For me, it's quickblogcreation.com. And as you can see, mine is working. This is what a fresh WordPress installation looks like. It's got the blog title. These images will rotate. This is a sample blog post that's on the home page, and then the sample page. Obviously, we're going to change this up completely. So once your site's up, go to yourdomain.com/wp-admin, and this is going to log us into the back end of our site. And you're going to use the username that you set up when you installed WordPress on your hosting account. For me, that was WP Sculptor. And then the password that it gave you. And you were also emailed a copy of this in case you didn't save that password. Just going to copy, paste that in. And this is what the WordPress dashboard, the WordPress backend looks like. Now the first thing I like to do is change that password to something that you can remember. To do that, go to Users, All Users, click on the user, and new password there at the bottom. Change that to something you can remember and update your profile. Now your password's changed. You can see profile updated. Now we're going to go and install the HUMIX theme. So in a new tab, you're going to go to theme, #4, press, themeforpress.com. And this is a free and premium WordPress theme company. And once you get there, go to themes, scroll down, and it's going to be right there. In case it's not there, if you're watching this video in the future, click on the free tab and it will be under there. So click on the HUMIX theme and share to unlock. So just push one of the like buttons. I'm pretty sure you might have to be logged in to Twitter, Facebook, or Google+. I'm going to just use Facebook, and I'm going to like it and post to Facebook. And I'm going to download. And I'm going to save the file. Okay, now I've got that downloaded to my hard drive. Go ahead and exit out of that. Now we're going to go back into our WordPress backend. And we're going to go to Appearance, Themes, and we're going to install the HUMIX theme and replace the 2011 theme that WordPress comes with by default. So go up to Install Themes, and we're going to upload it since we've already downloaded it to our website, or to our hard drive. And it is currently in the zip format, which is what it has to be to upload a theme. So we're going to browse, and it's going to be in my Downloads folder. And I'm actually, the easiest way is just to search for that, so I'm just going to find it there and install now. So just find it on your hard drive and then hit install now. And this will take a few seconds. All right. The theme installed successfully. Okay, so it's not activated yet. The other theme that comes with WordPress by default is still active. We're going to hit activate. All right, now our new theme is active. So to look at that, this little box right here will actually take you to our website. So we're going to hit that. And this is what the new theme looks like. As you can see, it comes with a slider by default. Of course, you don't have to have that on there if you don't want to. I'll show you how to add or remove that. And you still have the same sample blog post. It's on the home page, and you have this sample page that has the same content. It just looks differently because the theme formats everything differently. It comes with one sidebar by default, although we can change that as well. And we're going to click on this box to get back to our back end and create our first page. Alright, once you're in the back end, go to Pages, All Pages, and you'll see there's just one page, there's a sample page there. We're going to go ahead and delete that. So just hover over it and trash. We can always recover this in the trash if we wanted to by just going here, but we won't worry about that. And we're going to make a new page. So we're going to go to Add New. And we're going to call this is going to be the About page. So it's going to be called the About page. And I've got some sample content that I'm just going to copy and paste in so that we don't have to watch me type all that out. And I'm going to paste that in right here. There we go. Alright, now one thing I want you to notice here is this is called the visual editor. Okay, and this right here will switch over to the text editor. The visual editor basically functions like a word processor. You can hit this to show more options. This is called the kitchen sink, this little icon, and it works similar to what a Microsoft Word type program would work like. You can highlight text, you can underline it, you can change the color of the font. You can make it bold or italics, all that good stuff. And the text editor is actually going to write the HTML code for you. If you put in content through the visual editor and switch over to the text, you'll see HTML code. And we will use the text editor for if you ever wanted to insert some custom HTML, or if you wanted to embed a YouTube video, which I'm going to show you how to do in a little bit. But different things like that, we'll use the text editor. But most of the time, we'll stick with the visual editor. And I'm going to actually make this, I want to make this a list so that it has bullets next to it. So to do that, we're just going to highlight each one, and this right here gives you a bullet point. This would give you a numbered list. We're just going to do an unordered list. Just hit that, select that, and actually it might be easier. By the way, just Control Z, or the Apple key Z for those of you that are using Macs, to undo the steps. That works just fine in the WordPress editor. Let's see if we can select all of these and then do that. That works perfectly. Okay, and then we're going to publish the page. And now we have our About page. So to look at the page that you're working on, you can hit this button here, and there you have it. And I guess this theme by default doesn't add the bullets, but you can see they are indented. Alright, and by default it put that page, when we create a new page, it's going to put it there. I'm going to show you how to add and remove things from this menu, this top menu here, momentarily. But right now I want to show you how to use WordPress to add a picture on your pages. So we're going to go back to our dashboard, and we're going to go to Pages, All Pages, and you can see our About page that we just created is there. Go ahead and click on that. And let's say we want to add a picture, you wanted to add a picture of yourself to the left of that text that we just put in. So you're just going to click there, and I've got a picture of myself on my hard drive, but it's a really large file. Okay, it's taken with a digital camera, and it hadn't been edited, so it's a really large format, and we don't need it that big, because if we upload a file that big, to our WordPress site, it'll take way too long to load. And I like to use a free photo editing application that's available online. You don't even have to download it. And it's called Pixlr.com. That's Pixlr.com. And you can do all sorts of image editing with this software. I'm actually going to use this same application to show you how to create a logo. But for now, we're just going to resize an image that I have on my hard drive. So click on Pixlr Editor. And we're going to actually open an image from my computer. So click on that, and I've got this saved to a folder on my desktop. And this is the image that I want to use. Okay, the first thing I need to do is actually rotate that. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. All right. One thing I want you to notice is that I'm only looking at this image at 17%, as you can see right here. What I was talking about earlier, this image is actually, double click that, click on 100, and then I scroll up. This is the full size. So obviously we don't want anything that big. So I'm going to go back to 17 so I can actually see what I'm working on. And I'm going to use the crop tool first to crop out the section that I want, and then I'm going to show you how to resize it. So the crop tool will just cut out certain parts of the image that we want to use. So with that tool selected, click on that tool and then click and drag. And if you wanted to make a perfect square, you could hold Shift while you're dragging and it'll keep the ratio of a square. We're going to drag it, and when you release, you can move the box. And when you get the crop the way you want it, just hit Enter on the keyboard. And now we've got it cropped out, but it's still showing at 17%. And just to show you, that's how big it really is. But we want it to look about this big, and actually I want it to look a little smaller than that. I want it to look, let's say 10% the size that it actually is. So to get this image that small, you're going to go to Image, Image Size, and we're going to bump this to 300 pixels wide. And we'll just type it in there. And we're going to keep this box checked, constrain proportions, otherwise this image will get all distorted because the ratio of width to height will get manipulated in the wrong way. So we're going to keep that checked and select OK. And we're still looking at it at 10%. So to look at it at 100%, that's what it would look like. And I'm actually going to go a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to go to Image Size, and I'm going to change this to 250. And it's going to automatically adjust the height since we have that checked, and hit OK. Alright, I'm going to use that image. So to save this to your hard drive so that we can upload it to our WordPress site, you're just going to go to File, Save. And most of the time for pictures, we're going to use the JPEG file format. And if we're doing transparent images like logos, for example, which we'll do later on, we'll use PNGs. And if you wanted to save this as a Pixlr file so that you could come back and edit it in Pixlr and keep certain things saved, we would save it as a PXD, but we're just going to save it as a JPEG. And go ahead, and I like to just do 72 for the quality, and that'll be just fine. And now, as you can see, this image is only 14 kilobytes, which is very, very small, especially compared to what we started out with. So select OK, and I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Then I'll drag it over to my folder. And I'm going to call this About Me Pic. Alright. I'm going to go to my desktop where this picture is saved. Open up my folder, and I'm going to create a new folder. Edited images, and I'm going to drag this over Now to upload that picture to my About page, I'm going to go back to WordPress and make sure I'm clicked right here where I want my picture to be. And I'm going to select Add Media. Alright, and I want to upload files because it's not in the media library since I haven't uploaded it yet. So I'm going to select Files, and I'm going to go back to my desktop. I'm going to click on WordPress Sculptor. Actually, nope, I'm going to go click on Travel Blog, and then Edited Images, and the About Me pick. Alright, that's uploaded, and here you have a few options. This is some SEO things you can do. We'll talk about that later. For now, we're just going to leave that the way it is. And we want this to align to the left of our text. Okay, you can do center, right, or none, and you can experiment with those different ways of alignment, but we're going to do align left. And I don't want people to be able to click on this link and open it up in a new window, so we're just going to say link to none. That way it's not going to be a link. You won't be able to click on that picture. It'll just be displayed. And then make sure this is full size. If you select thumbnail, obviously it'll be smaller than full size, so keep it at full size, and we're going to insert into page. Alright, and as you can see that it pushed the text so that the text wraps around the image, and the image is on the left, and we're going to update the page. Clicking there. Now if we go back and view this page by clicking here or here, you will see that our image is aligning to the left of our text. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is add additional blog posts to your blog. So we're going to go back to our dashboard, and whereas pages are here, we're going to go to posts, and we're going to go to all posts. And as you can see, there's only one, the Hello World post. That's the sample post that comes with a standard WordPress installation. We'll delete that in a minute, but for now we're just going to go to Add New. And let's call this, since we're doing the travel blog theme, we'll call this London Trip. And then I'm going to go down here, and obviously we're in the visual editor, and I'm just going to copy and paste some filler text that I've got so that you don't have to watch me type. And I'm going to publish that as it is. Of course, we're going to make some changes to that, but I want to show you what happens when you publish a new post. We're going to click this icon to go to the home page of our website, which is our blog page. And as you can see, the blog post that we just created, the London Trip post, is showing here at the top. And that's because every time you create a new blog post, it's going to show an excerpt from that blog post on your blog page. And if you click here, it'll take you to that actual blog page, or that actual blog post rather. It's a little tricky with the pages and posts, but it's really not that difficult once you get the hang of it. So we're going to go back to our dashboard. And that was a little boring because that was just text. I want to add a featured image so that an image shows on our blog page above the excerpt of that blog post. So we're going to go back to all posts, click on the London Trip post, and we want a featured image. To do that, you're going to go down here and hit Set Featured Image. Now we haven't actually downloaded anything yet, so let's go ahead and do that by going to a new tab, and I'm going to show you a really cool website that has many different free public domain images. And public domain simply means they're available to use, and you don't have to give credit to anyone. You can edit the images and use them as you please. So they're not copyright. And that website is Pixabay, Pixabay.com. And we're just going to search for London. Alright, and the image that I want to go with is this one right here. So we're just going to click on that. And that's a really great professional image that we have the ability to use for free. And just to show you what I'm talking about, the license here is public domain. If you click on that, you can read about the public domain license and see that there's no copyright for that, but I'll let you take care of that on your own time. And to download this image, first of all, let me just say we want to get this image bigger than this. So when you click on it, it gives you several different options here. You can download a really small JPEG, a medium-sized, and a large and an extra large. We want to go with the large, so that it gives us options. If we want to use the bigger image, which we will for the slideshow, we'll have that large image to work with, and we can always shrink that down, but you can't. You can always go smaller with images, but you can't always go bigger. So we're going to download the large one, and type in the CAPTCHA and download. Alright, and this is still not the actual size. When you click on it, that's the actual size of the image, which is really big and bigger than we want to use, but we'll use Pixlr to get that down. So I'm just going to right click on this, or control click with a Mac, save image as, and I'm going to save it in my travel blog folder as a full-sized image, and I'm going to call this London 1. Alright, now let's get this smaller so that we can use it on our site. We're going to go back to Pixlr, and we're going to go to File, Open Image, and we're going to find it on our hard drive, and that's London 1. And I'm going to crop out a section first before we resize it. Again, we're only looking at this at 59%. So I'm going to make sure the crop tool is selected, and I'm going to click here and hold and drag, and let's just say I want to go with something like that size, and then I'm going to drag it down, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, I like that. And then let's go ahead and resize it, because as you can see, if you go down here and look at it at 100%, it's still way too big. I'm going to go to image size, and I'm going to make this 650 pixels wide and constrain the proportion. Hit OK, and that's 100%. That's how big it's going to actually show on the blog. And I really like this size. You'll get the hang of how many pixels to use as you get more experience with this, more hands-on experience. 650 pixels is going to be about, go back to our blog, that's going to be about this width right here. It's pretty close anyway. Alright, so to add that as our featured image, we're going to go back to that blog post, posts, all posts, London trip, and set featured image. And we're going to upload that. And I guess we got to go back to Pixlr and save that, don't we? File, save as London 1, and I'm going to say SM for small, and change this to 72 so that it'll be a little bit smaller. This is a little larger than our about me picture. That's totally fine though. 64 kilobytes is perfectly acceptable. Save it. Okay. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Go back to my desktop. Open up the folder and drag it over to my edited images folder. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my post, select the file right there, and it's going to upload it. We're going to scroll down. You have the same options here for SEO, and we're going to click Set Featured Image, and we're going to click Update. And now, if we go back to our site, we can see that we have the featured image right there. And we can click this to look at the blog post in its entirety. Or we can go back and we can click the image and also get to the blog post in its entirety. Now, one thing I want to point out is that we can insert images into our blog posts just like we can with pages. And just a quick example, I'll show you how to use that featured image and put it in the middle of the blog post in between paragraphs. Go back to posts, all posts, and we're going to edit the London trip post. Alright, and let's say we wanted an image between the first and second paragraph. Just hit there. All I did was click there and hit enter. And we're going to add media. Now, since it's already uploaded to our media library, we can just click there and it's there by default. We can just click this image because that's the same one that we have as our featured image. And we're going to align it centered. And we don't want the medium because that's a lot smaller than the original file, which is 650 pixels wide. We're going to do the full size and insert into post. Alright, and now we're going to update. And let's view the post. And as you can see, we have an image right in the middle of our blog post. Alright, let's go back, and also let me just point out, you can hit, as long as you're logged into your blog, you can click on edit there to edit this particular post. And I want to talk about categories. All blog posts with WordPress must have at least one category, and if you don't have anything, if you don't set anything by default, it will be uncategorized. And this is a very helpful way to organize your blog posts, and you can use multiple categories if you choose to for any given blog post. And for this one, let's say we want to call this, we want a category called European Travel. So we're going to add a new category and we're going to call it European Travel. We're going to add the category and it's automatically checked. Now, every time we create a new blog post, we'll have the option to make it a European Travel category if we want to. We're going to uncheck Uncategorize since it is now going to be in the European Travel category, and let's just add another one and call it London and add new category. Alright, now we're going to update the page, or the post rather. Alright, now it's categorized in those two categories. Alright, let's go ahead and add two more blog posts. And first we can delete this Hello World sample post. Trash it. Alright, let's add new. And I'm going to call this Munich trip. And then with the visual editor, I'm going to come down, grab this filler text right here, copy and paste that in. Okay, and I'm going to check European Travel and add a new category called Munich. Add. And another thing I want you to notice, or I want to show you rather, is by default it will grab, let's go ahead and publish this so I can show you what I'm talking about. Alright, it's published. Now we're going to go to our website. And on the home page, which is our blog page, you can see the Munich trip post is showing up at the top because it's the most recent blog post. And what I was going to say, by default, it will create an excerpt using the first several lines of text. But you can customize this and have it say whatever you wanted if you wanted it to be different than the first few lines. And to do that, we're just going to go here and edit. And click on, at the top here, Screen Options. And click on Excerpt. And we can hide this by clicking Screen Options again. And scroll down, and now we have the option to have a custom excerpt. Can't type today. Alright. And now we're going to update it. And go back to our home page. And now you can see that it's the custom excerpt. But for now, we'll just let it be what it is by default, the first several lines of that text. And all we have to do is delete that, update it, go back, and it reverts back to the first several lines of text. And let's go ahead and add a featured image to that as well. We're going to go back to Pixabay, and I'm going to search for Munich. We'll just use this one. Same procedure as last time, just click on it. We're going to select the one that's 1280 pixels wide. Download that. Fill in the CAPTCHA. Make sure it's all the way loaded, and then right click or control click, save image as. And I'm going to put it in my full-sized images folder and call it Munich 1. And while we're here, let's go ahead and grab an image for Vienna. And that'll be the third and final blog post. Use this one. Okay, and I'm going to create a third blog post called Vienna Trip, and I'm also going to set the featured image for, with this image for the Vienna Trip and that Munich image that I just downloaded for the Munich Trip blog post. And I'm going to do the exact same procedure that I did with the original London blog post and crop that image down and resize it with Pixlr, but I won't show you that so that we save a little bit of time here. Alright, so I've got the other two blog posts in. As you can see, I've got the Vienna Trip is the most recent one, then the Munich Trip with the featured image, and the London Trip. Alright, now I want to talk about comments. On blog posts, it's a pretty common practice to allow people to post their comments, and you can see there's a spot here, and since I'm logged in with my username and password, it doesn't have a spot for name and email. But let me just show you here. If we're looking at this logged out, by the way, that green bar is going to go away as well. I mean, that gray bar rather at the top is going to go away if you're logged out. And let's just click on the Vienna Trip blog post. And if you scroll down, to leave a reply, you would have to put in your name, your email. Optional would be to put in your website and your comment. So let's just do. Use my Yahoo address. Leave that blank. Actually, I'll just put in my website, and this is my first test comment. And post comment. Okay, now that's actually not going to show right away. As you can see here, it says your comment is awaiting moderation, and this is because by default, when you install WordPress, the default comment options say that a user that posts a new user that posts a comment for the first time has to have it approved, and then after they have an approved comment, it'll just post their comments automatically. And this is to help protect against spammers out there, or automatic bots that go around and post spam automatically. And so to approve that comment, let's just say it was someone you don't know and they post a comment, you go back to your back end, your URL /wp-admin, and we're going to log in using our new password, of course, that we created earlier. And you can see here comments, and it's got a 1 by it. Just click on comments, and you can see the comment here. And we're going to approve it, so that now if we by the way, to open the site in a new tab, instead of clicking that, you can right click or control click and open link in new tab. Go down to our Vienna trip blog post, and now you can see the comment right there. The settings for that are settings discussion. Comments are a form of discussion. Right here, comment author must have a previously approved comment. If we uncheck that, then anybody could just post a comment and it would post to the blog right away, but I like to keep that checked. And one thing I want to point out is if you do want to make a change here to actually bring it into effect, you have to click on Save Changes. But since we didn't change anything, it's not going to do anything different. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to show you how to do is create another page, and we're just going to call this video page, and I'm going to show you how to embed YouTube videos onto that page. So just go to Pages, and then we're going to add new. We're just going to call this video page, and we're going to publish the page. Alright, now remember earlier I was talking about the differences between the visual and the text editor. The text editor is what you use for HTML code, and what we're going to use for our video, for embedding a YouTube video, that is going to be HTML code. And let's just go ahead and go to youtube.com, and let's type in Rick Steves Europe. He's a European travel guide, pretty renowned. And let's just click on this one right here. Will be just fine. Pause that. You can do this with any YouTube video. It works just the same. Just go to the video page and go down to start that, just so you know it is an actual video. And go down to Share, and we're going to embed. So click on Embed. And that text is going to be highlighted. Just right click or control click and copy, and go back to your video page and make sure you're within the text editor, and we're going to right click or control click and paste that code in, and then we're going to update the page, and we're going to click on View Page. Alright, as you can see, it automatically adds that tab to our top menu. I'm going to show you how to rearrange this and add and remove certain things here in a minute, but there you have the embedded YouTube video. Very easy, and of course you can click play and it will play directly on your site. Alright, now I want to show you how to take off the comments for certain pages. A lot of your pages, and in fact probably all of your pages, you really don't want people to comment on. It's completely up to you, but to do that, go back to your dashboard and go to your pages, all pages, and we only have 2 created so far. So what you're going to do is go to the page that you want to make the adjustment to, click on Screen Options, and check Discussion. Now if you scroll down, you have this box here, and we're going to uncheck Allow Comments and Allow Trackbacks and Pings, and then we're going to update the page. And if we go back and view our page, I think that was our About page that we did that to, which is fine, but as you can see now there's no comment spot for that. Let's do the same thing to the video page. Pages, all pages, video page, and that's going to be down there already. Just remember Screen Options, make sure Discussion's checked, and then we're going to uncheck it there, and update that page. Now the video page will no longer allow for comments. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to install a contact form plugin so that people can fill out a contact form on your website and push send, and then it'll automatically send an email to whatever email address you have set up as your admin website, which is what you set up earlier when we first installed WordPress. But if you wanted to check that, what email address you have set up, click on Settings, General, and right here, whatever email address is in this spot is where this contact form is going to go by default. So if you need to change that, this is a good place to do that. Now to install the contact form, that's going to be a plugin. So we're going to go to Plugins and Add New. And we're going to search for Contact Form 7. This is a very popular and reliable contact form. Okay, it's going to be the first one that pops up. It's got 4 stars, and if we want some more information, we can click Details, and you can see here it's been downloaded over 10 million times, and it's gotten 4 stars, so that's really good. But we're just going to click on Install now, and OK. Alright, successfully installed. Now we have to activate the plugin. So click Activate. Now the plugin is activated, but it's not added to any particular page because we've got to do that manually. We've got to add it where we want it. So we're going to create a page called Contact Me. Go to Pages, and then we're going to add new, and we're going to Contact Me. That's what we're going to call this, and we're going to go ahead and uncheck comments and allow trackbacks and pings, and we're going to publish this. We obviously still haven't added it yet. Now to add the contact form, we need to go to Contact. Now this box just now appeared since we activated the plugin. So click on that. And here you have the default contact form set up. If we click on that, you can see this. It's got a spot for your name, and then it'll have a field where you put in your name, your email, and a field where you put in your email, a subject, and a field, and then the message and a text area where the person filling out the contact form will put in their message. But to put that onto our Contact Me page, we're going to copy this, right click, copy, and just in case you didn't see, it's also here. You can copy and paste it here, or copy it here as well. And then go back to your Contact Me page that we just made. And paste that in. And actually, one thing I want to make sure you're aware of is when these are called shortcodes. And a lot of plugins will have shortcodes to activate them on certain pages. You want to make sure you're in the text editor. You don't want to be in the visual editor when you copy and paste a shortcode in. So make sure that there's nothing in the visual editor. Go to the text editor and paste that in, and then we're going to update the page. And we're going to view it. Now it's appearing at the top there, and you can see we have a contact form on the site now. And we can just fill this out. And the user would just push send, and they get a message that says it was sent successfully, and you can check your email and you will have a contact form from whoever sent it. Alright, now let's talk about this menu here at the top. Sometimes you might want to exclude certain pages from your menu, or rearrange your menu, or put one page as a drop down under another page, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that stuff next. So to do that, go back to your dashboard, and we're going to go to Appearance and Menus. Okay, we haven't created a menu yet, and by default most themes will just put all of the pages. Every time you create a page, it will just add it to the top navigation menu. And that's fine, but like I said earlier, if you want to have control over that, you need to do it this way. So we're going to create a menu, and we're going to call it let's just call it Main Navigation. And then create the menu by clicking there. And let's add all three of these pages. Contact Me page, the video page, and the About page. And we're going to check those and add to menu. And now we have to go over here under theme locations, and you can see it's got a spot for primary menu. Well, since we just created the first and only main navigation menu, we're going to click here and then select that and hit save. And we'll save it there just in case. Now if you go back to your website, you will see that the home is gone. The home option that was appearing there earlier is gone, and we now have the three pages that we've created. But go back to the menu, and to rearrange how those are showing, for example, if we wanted the About page to be first, we could just click, hold, and drag that to the top, just like that. And then if we want to Contact Me to be last, we could just click and hold and drag that to the bottom. And now it'll be in that order: About, Video, Contact. So we save it and go back, take a look, About, Video, and Contact. Now a lot of people like to use drop-down menus, and this theme is fully capable of doing that. So to do that, we're going to go back to our dashboard, Appearance, Menus, make sure we're on the main navigation menu, and let's say we wanted the Contact Me page to be an extension of the About page. In other words, when you hovered over About page, then the Contact Me would show as a drop-down. We could drag it up here and then scoot it over, and now it's going to be a child of the About page. So we can save that and take a look. Now when you hover over About page, it shows up as a drop-down. Okay, now let's get our home page, or our home navigation menu item back up. That will take us to the home page here. And to do that, we are going to go to Appearance, Menus, and make sure we're in the main navigation menu that we've created. And we're going to do a custom link. Since we don't actually have a page that's called Home, we're going to set the URL to our website. So we're going to copy and paste that in. It'll be http://quickblogcreation.com, and then we're going to call this, give it a label, and call it Home, and then add to menu. And let's bring that all the way to the top, and we're going to go ahead and set that as its own menu item so it's not a drop down, and save the menu. And now if we go up here and take a look, we now have our home, About, and just to demonstrate, you can click on that, and then if you want to go back home, looks like I forgot the colon. As you can see there, that's why it didn't work. HTTP, there's no colon, so let's go ahead and fix that. Go back to our dashboard, Appearance, Menus, and click right here, this arrow. That's the issue. We need to take out that, so it's only in there once. And save the menu. Refresh. And now when we click on Home, it takes us home. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to create a custom logo and find free icons to use for a logo that you're going to make. And for that, we're going to go back to Pixabay, and we're going to search for, since we're doing the travel blog theme, I thought it might be neat to do a compass. So let's type in compass icons and search. Scroll down. Let's just search for compass. There we go. I want to use this one, so I'm going to click on that, and just to show you, you can scroll down. This is a public domain image, So we're going to click here and download. We want the PNG. For logos, you always want to work with PNGs, with especially with icons, so that this right here is not the compass with a white square. It's just going to be the compass, and this area is going to be transparent, so it'll be the same background color as our site, which is white, but it's good to go ahead and get in the practice of doing this. And we're going to download, let's go ahead and download this one. It's pretty big, and then we'll be able to make it smaller. Just click download and right click, save image as, and we're going to call this compass icon. And now we're going to go back to Pixlr, close out of these, and I'm going to go to File, New Image, and the presets 800 by 600 pixels is fine because we're going to crop this down here in a little bit. Say OK. And now let's go ahead and open that compass icon that we just downloaded. Find it on our hard drive and open it. Okay, now this checkered area is showing the transparency, which is good. That's what we want. So to get that into our new blank document, you're going to make sure you're clicked on the compass icon. We're going to go to Edit and select all. And then we're going to go to Edit, Copy, and we're going to click on our blank document and Edit, Paste. Alright, and now we have a new layer here that's showing up above the background layer. And let's go ahead and make this smaller, because we're looking at it at 75%, which means it's even bigger than it's showing. So we're going to go to Edit, Free Transform, and click here this blue box and hold Shift to maintain the ratio. Click Shift, and we're going to shrink that down. And we'll do that because we can always make it smaller here in a minute. Once you get it to where you want it, hit Enter, and it's showing up fuzzy because we're looking at it 75%, but when we show it at 100, it looks good right there. Alright, now I'm going to use the Move tool to move that compass over, which is right here. So click on that tool, and then click, hold, and drag, and we're going to drag that compass right there. And let's add some text. So we're going to go over here and select the text tool, click on the A. Now with the text tool selected, click anywhere on the canvas, and we're going to type in travel blog. Okay, and I'm going to make this, there's a font I want to use called American Typewriter. You may or may not have that on your computer, but you should have plenty to choose from. There it is, and I'm going to do American Typewriter Light. And I'm going to do font size of 53. And I'm going to make this a teal. So you can select here, get that where you want it, and then you can click over here, and you can see there's all kinds of different options for color. Let's make it there. Let's make it right there. Let's do it a little bit lighter. Okay. And then click OK. And I'm going to click OK. Now to move this text, just go back, and right now the text tool or the type tool is selected, so we could still click and edit that text. But to move that text, just click on the Move tool, which is that, and then we can go, and as long as the travel blog layer is selected here, if this was selected and we tried to move the travel blog, it would actually move the compass. So we need to make sure that the text layer is selected, we have the Move tool selected, and we can click and drag that. And let's just put it there. And now let's shrink our compass down to about the same size as the text, just a little bit bigger. So we're going to click on the compass layer, and we're going to go to image, actually edit, and then free transform. And it's only going to transform the compass since that's the layer that we have selected here. So we're going to go here and click shift and drag. Again, you're pushing shift on the keyboard, you're clicking and holding, and you're just moving that. And let's put it about there, and we're going to go ahead and hit enter. Now, as long as the move tool is selected, we can move that right there. Okay, I like that. And I want to add a shadow to this travel blog text. So click on the travel blog layer, and then if you come over here and hover over this little icon, it says layer styles. Click on layer styles, and we're going to add a drop shadow. So move that out of the way so we can see what we're working on. Select that box next to drop shadow and click right there to get some options. Obviously that doesn't look good at all. We want this to be a light gray, so we're going to come over here and make that more of a gray color. Select OK, and it's set at a distance of 10. I'm going to do 3, so it's just a little bit offset. And the opacity is how much this shadow is showing through. If we were at 100, it would be thicker. It would look thicker. This is going to make it a little lighter, so let's use 72. And this angle, you can see it moving on the screen. I'm going to leave that at about -133 is fine, and select OK. Okay, that's looking pretty good. The only problem is if we cropped this right now, we would have a white background because we have the white background layer turned on. Now to get that off and make this background transparent, go ahead and double click on the lock pad, and that's going to remove that and turn this into a checkbox. Click on that checkbox to turn it off, and you can go back and forth. We're going to keep it off. Now we have a transparent background. So to crop out just what we need here, select the crop tool, and we're going to go over to right about there, click, hold, and drag. Make sure you're getting all of that in. That looks good. And then we're going to you let go when you get it the way you want it, and hit enter. And we have to save this as a PNG file since we want this checkered area to be transparent. So we're going to go to File, Save Image. Actually, it's the wrong one. File, Save, and let's call this logo. Change this to PNG for transparency, and select OK. And we're going to save it onto our desktop right there. Now go back to our desktop, edited images, and drag our logo file into the edited images folder. Alright, now what I was talking about earlier, you have different file types that you can save these images as in pixelers. If you want to save this where you have these layers, the text layer and then the compass layer separated, and you would want to do that in case you wanted to come back in and make some changes, you wouldn't have to start from scratch. You would just go to File, Save, and we would change the format to a PXD, which is a layered pixeler image, and then that would save all these things that you've done here separately. But we're not going to worry about that because we pretty much have this the way it's going to stay. So we're going to upload this logo to our site now. And to do that, we're going to go back to our dashboard and go to Appearance, and we're going to go to HUMIX Settings. Alright. Now, the first thing that opens up is the header styling. Just so you see, you've got all these different options. But make sure you're under the header styling and the spot for custom logo. Click Upload, and we're going to select the files from our hard drive, and there it is, logo.png. Give it a second to load. Scroll down, and full size, we're going to say turn that off. We don't want it to be a link. We want it to be to our home page. And use this image. Alright, right there. And you can select here if you want it to be to the right or to the left of our navigation menu. We want it to be to the far left. And then I'm going to check this box to disable the title because we're going to put this logo. We want it to be in place of the blog title. So we're going to check that box and save settings. Now if we go back and take a look at our site, we should now have a logo right there. And we do. Alright, and let's go ahead and change this green. When you hover over the text, it turns into that green and gives that green line, and then you can see here this is green, all these links are green. When you hover over these links, they turn green. We can change that color, the color of all those things, with one change, and we're going to make them the same color as our blue text color. So first of all, we need to figure out what color that is. And we're going to get what's called a hex code, which is a 6-digit code with letters and numbers that tells us exactly what color that is. So go back to Pixlr and make sure you have your logo file pulled up, and we're going to select the text layer or select the text tool there, go back up and select the text layer, come over and click on the color, and right here this is the hex code. So just double click on that, make sure it's highlighted, copy, right click or control click, copy, and go back to our dashboard, and we're going to go to Appearance, HUMIX Settings, and click on General Styling. And right here, this is where we paste that hex code in. So highlight that and right click, control click for Mac users, and paste. And make sure you don't have this pound symbol in there twice. It's got to be in there once, but make sure it's not in there twice. And then we're going to save settings. Now you can see it's turned into the blue, and if we go back and take a look at our site, those are now blue. So that's a really easy way to change the feel of your site with just one simple change there. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is prepare the images that we're going to use in our slideshow, and that just means we're going to get them cropped and resized to the dimensions that we need them. And to figure out what dimensions we're going to use, just right click or control click with a Mac on any one of the slideshow images and go to View Image. It's going to open it up in a new tab, and you can see at the top here it is 930 by 400 pixels. And this bottom area is covered up by the text. So we'll want to make sure that we crop our images at 930 by 400. So let's go ahead and go to Pixlr, and I'm going to open up, go to File, Open Image. I'm going to open up the original full-sized London image and start with that. Okay. Drag that over so that I can see outside on the sides, and we're looking at this at 59%. Now to crop this, make sure the crop tool is selected, and on the constraint we're going to do an output size, and we're going to go ahead and give this 930 by 400. Alright, now so whatever we crop, it's going to resize it automatically to those dimensions. So I'm just going to go ahead and click right out here. If you click outside in the gray area, it's going to automatically start at the far corner. Alright, and I want to drag this down to about there. All you do is click, hold, and drag, and then let go when you get it all the way across, and then you can move it where you want it, and then let's actually move that up a little bit, and then push enter. And then if we look at this at 100%, it's going to be the perfect size for our slideshow. So I'm going to save this file, save as London slide. I'll lower the quality to 72 and hit OK. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing with the other images that we have. And I'm not going to demonstrate that because it's the exact same procedure. Just you have to make sure that you start out with an image that's at least 930 by 400. Otherwise, if it's smaller than that, it'll distort the image if you try to make it larger. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to move them from my desktop. And I'm going to make a new folder called Slides. And I'm just going to drag them Alright, now I'm going to upload them to our WordPress site. To do that, since we're not going to put these on a page, we're going to put them in the slideshow. We're just going to upload them directly to the media library. And go to your dashboard and then click on Media. And we're going to add new. You can also just hover over Media and then select Add New. And then hit Select Files. And we're going to open our Slides folder and just select all of these and click Open. Now that they're uploaded to our media library, we'll be able to access them and get the URLs that we'll need for those images here in a minute. So right now go to Appearance, and you can just hover over Appearance or click Appearance and select HUMIX Settings. And we're going to scroll down, and I believe it's Header Styling. No, it's actually going to be, click on Layout. Alright, what you want to make sure of is that you've got the header, the number of widget columns in the header set to this one. And this is going to give us one big area, which is where our slideshow is going to go and where it currently is. And as long as that's selected, then you're going to go to Appearance and click on Widgets. Alright, now widgets are basically areas that different WordPress themes have for you to easily add content to different areas. Like, for example, the sidebar. We've got one sidebar as our theme for our theme that is selected. So for the sidebar, we have all these different widgets, which if we go back to our site, you can see that there's a search bar, a recent comments, or a recent post, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta. And that's all right here. That's where those things are. And then we have a header widget that is currently empty because the default slideshow is in place. To move our own slideshow where the header widget is, we're going to find the T4P carousel slider. Just click and hold and then drag that in right here. Okay, and this is actually HTML code. And yes, you are going to be editing HTML code, and I promise you, it's not as scary as it may look if you've never experienced this before. It's just going to be a matter of copying, cutting, and pasting. So go ahead and click Save, and go back, take a look at your home site, homepage, and refresh it, and nothing should change. Okay. But what I want you to realize, go back to your dashboard, and right here, in between this and this is a URL for the image that is showing up first, for this image right here. We're going to replace this URL with the URL of the slide we want to show first. So what we're going to do is keep this page open, and we're going to open our media library, and I'm going to hover over that and right click or control click and open link in new tab so that we can stay on this page, and click on that tab, and here are the images that we recently uploaded to our library. I want the London slide to be first, so click on the London slide, and right here we're going to double click, and this is the file URL. This is what we're going to replace that other URL with. So make sure all of that's highlighted. You can See there, I've highlighted the whole thing by double clicking on it. Right click, copy, go back to the widget area, scroll down, select this again, and I'm going to right click and paste. Alright, and make sure you keep this symbol here and this symbol there. That's got to be in there. And then we're just going to go down and save, and we're going to go back to our website and refresh the page, and we will have that London image as the first slide. Okay, now to edit the text right here, we would just go up, and this is in between the H4 opening tag, that's what this is here, and the H4 closing tag, that's what that is there. So we can fill in, as long as we keep the tags exactly intact as they are, we can put in whatever we want. And we're just going to say, read about my trip to London. And we're going to save. Go back, refresh the page, and there you go. Now you've got read about my trip to London. Alright. To add the second slide, we're just going to scroll down and do the exact same thing. We're going to replace this. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Then I'm going to go back to my media library, click the backspace button, and I want the HUMIX slide to be next. So I'm going to open the HUMIX slide up within the media library, double click on the URL, copy that, and go back here and paste that in. And I'm going to change this caption to read about my trip to Munich. Save it. And now if we refresh the page and hit the next arrow, you can see that my next slide, my second slide, is in there. And to do the same thing to the third slide, just go back to the media library, hit the backspace button, click on the Vienna slide, double click and copy that. And we're just going to go down and replace this right here with that URL. And then we're going to change the H4 tag, what the H4 tag has within it, and just read about my Vienna trip. Save it, go back and refresh the page. Make sure everything works correctly, and there you go. We've got our third slide and our third caption in. Now, as you can see, obviously you can't click on any of these and get taken to these particular posts or to another page. So let me show you how to add a link in so that you can click on an image. Go back to the widget, and we're just gonna let's say we want the London blog or the London image to go to the London Post. I'm going to go scroll down and click on the London Post. I'm going to copy and paste this URL. Just copy, and I'm going to go back to my carousel slider widget, and I'm going to add an opening bracket, A, and that stands for anchor, href equals quotation mark, closing bracket. Now within those quotes, I'm going to paste that URL in. Alright, and then at the end of the image tag, it ends right here where you have this / closing tag. You're going to add opening, close, / A, and then closing. And that's going to close out this anchor tag. Okay, just if that doesn't make sense, that's perfectly fine, just as long as you can look back at the screen and put these in right where I am putting them in, And for this example, we're putting them in front of the image and right after the image, and then hit save. And let's go back and take a look. Refresh the page. And now we've got the first slide is clickable. Takes you to the travel blog or the London trip blog post. And you got the second slide and the third slide and the caption there. Now let's just say, for example, you wanted to only have 2 slides, or maybe you want to have 4 slides. Let me show you how to add and remove slides. Go back to the widget and make sure you're in the carousel slider widget. And the first slide that we have is going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a little bit different coding because it is the first slide. But the second and third will have the same type of code. It's going to have this div class equals item. This is just HTML code. And it'll have our content, our image, and our caption. And then you've got 2 closing div tags. And then it's exactly the same for the third one. You have this div class equals item and our 2 closing div tags. So if we wanted to remove that third slide, for example, all we would have to do is highlight what you see selected here, and I'm just going to copy it so that I can paste that back in here in a minute, and then you would just remove it right there. And then save. Go back and we're going to refresh, and now you're only going to see the first 2 slides. That's the first one, that's the second one. Okay, so it's only 2 slides there. And now we're going to go back and I'm going to paste that back in. The spacing is fine, that's not going to affect anything. Now I'm going to save it, and just so you can see, we're going to have that third slide back right there. Now if you wanted to add an additional slide, let's just copy and paste that same. Let's just copy and paste this right here. And let's say we want another slide to fall in between the first 2. So above that, we would just paste this in, and then we would replace the image with the URL of the image we want to use, and then of course you can add the caption in. So if we did it here, we would have obviously the same image in there twice. Let's refresh that, and then you're going to have that one. That one is in there twice. But I'm going to take that out so that we only have it in there once. And now it's back the way we had it. Alright, now let's talk about the sidebar widgets. By default, WordPress is going to come with the search bar, recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta. I'm just going to keep the search box, the recent, or actually the categories, and I'm going to add pages. So these are the pages, the about, the contact me, and the video page. So to adjust that, we're just going to go back to the dashboard and go to Appearance Widgets, same place where we worked with the slideshow. And this is going to be in our sidebar widget area. So we're going to keep the search bar there. I'm going to just drag this recent posts back over to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of recent comments. I'm going to get rid of archives. You can always add those back. And I'm going to get rid of meta. And now I'm going to add the pages widget and have that, let's see, I'll put it above categories. And I'm just going to save. And now all of my pages will be showing on the sidebar. And let's just go back and take a look. Okay, now you can see the 3 pages that I've created, and the search bar is still there, and the categories are there. Now, just so you know, if you remember, when we created our 3 blog posts, we categorized all of them in the European travel category. So if we clicked on that, you would see the featured image and the excerpt from all 3 of those blogs. And that would work, and we've only got 1 in each one of these, so it's only going to show 1. But if we had another blog post about London and we categorized it in the London category, that would also show here as well. Now I also want to show you this is related to widgets as well. Go back to your dashboard, and a lot of times you may want to remove something from your widget areas that you might like to have the opportunity or the option to put back in place in the future. So you don't want to delete that. So for example, let's say we wanted to take out this slideshow. We could drag it, instead of here, this would erase it, but we're going to drag it to inactive widgets, and now we're just going to, that's going to save automatically actually, and we're just going to go back to our website, and it's got the default put back in place there. And to get, it's the wrong one there, go back and we could drag this right back in place, and it's going to save automatically. Go back, take a look, it's going to put the same slideshow that we had in there as before. Now let's say you want to completely remove this slideshow. You don't want to have a slideshow at all. In fact, you don't want to have anything in that header area. What you would do is go back to your dashboard, go to Appearance, HUMIX Settings, and right here we're going to change number of widget columns and header. We're going to select that and choose this one, and that's obviously showing 0. And then if we save the settings, go back and take a look at our site, now it's not showing anything. There is no header widget. Alright, and to revert back to the way we had it, we could go to Appearance, HUMIX Settings, and select that, save settings, go back to our site, and it's going to put that back in place. It's going to have a memory of that, so to speak. Now let's talk about this. This slideshow is obviously showing on the home page, which is our blog page. Now, let's say, for example, you don't want your home page to be your blog page. In other words, when people go to quickblogcreation.com, maybe I wanted them to be taken to the About page, and I want my blog page to be something else. Well, to set that up, you would go to your dashboard and you would go to Settings, and this is going to be under Reading. So click on Reading, and right here, Front Page Displays, we've got your latest posts checked, which that is checked by default. If we wanted it to be a different page, a static page, we would check that box, and we would select our front page, and let's just say I wanted it to be the About Me page, and the Post page. If we did it this way and we had a blog, we would just create a page called Blog, and it would just be a blank page. We'd just go to Pages, Add New, call it Blog, and then I would just select Blog from this list, and I would save the changes, but for now we'll just set it to, not the About, we'll set it to the video page, will be the blog page, and that will override what we have on the video page right now. But just to demonstrate, now when we go to our home page, we're going to get the About page right there, and obviously those are both showing up because they're the same page. And if you clicked on the video page, this is going to be our blog page right there. And one thing I want to point out is this slideshow is set, the header widget which contains the slideshow is set to be active on our blog page. And with this theme, that's the only way to have this is to either have it on all pages or just your blog page. And to demonstrate that, go to Appearance, HUMIX Settings. Right here, header widgets placement, we've got it set at home page, but this actually means blog page. That should have said blog page. You can do all pages, or to turn that off, you could just select that box right there. But we're going to keep that on our blog page, and we're going to set our blog page back to home. So check that box, save the setting, and then we're going to go back into Settings, go back to Reading. We're going to change this back to your latest posts, and then we won't have to worry about these things. Save the changes, go back to our home page, and now we have the slideshow, and we have our 3 blog posts. Alright, let me show you how to add and remove these social media icons, and how to set them to link to your Facebook and your Twitter and the other social media platforms that are available. Go back to the dashboard and select Appearance, HUMIX Settings, and we're going to go down to subscribe, and connect. And here you have 5 different options: Twitter, Facebook, Dribbble, Vimeo, and Pinterest. The only reason Twitter and Facebook icons are showing up is because we have a link put in there. If we took that out there, then that's going to, and saved, that's going to remove the Twitter icon and only show the Facebook. And if we go back, appearance, HUMIX settings, subscribe and connect, we can change this to whatever the URL of your Facebook page is, and you would do the same with Twitter and Vimeo if you have a Vimeo page, and Pinterest if you had a Pinterest page. You would just copy and paste your URL, and then you would have an icon that showed up for that social media platform. And we're just going to add back twitter.com. And now this is going to take us, if we click there, that would just take you to Twitter. It's going to open up in another window, by the way, another tab, and this is going to open up to the Facebook, whatever URL you have put in there. And the last thing I'm going to do is add a page that's going to be under About Page, so that when you hover over About Page, it's going to show up as a drop-down menu. And I've pretty well already demonstrated this, but just one more time. I'm going to go to Pages, Add New, and this is, let's just call it Drop-Down Page. And I'm going to switch to the visual editor. Publish that. And then I'm going to go back to Appearance, Menus, and I'm going to check that box, add it to the menu, and I want it to be under the About page, and save. And there we have it. And the last thing I forgot to do is remove comments and discussion options. Uncheck those two. Alright, and that is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit me at wpsculptor.com. Thank you so much.